Oceanicod, Caliele, Nicotite, Coeg, Wade Levens, Tawadon, Jalagantino, Unole, Tawaton.
Ocean, Jigay, Color, Sourdough, Jalagigat, Yonegat, Peggy, Gertie. Flute.
All right, so welcome to Cherokee 3 here at RSU TV. I'm Wade, and this is Miss Peggy, and we're really glad that everyone's here today. I apologize that my voice is a little rugged, and of course. When it's like this, that's whenever I decide to do hymns, right? So, but hey, as they say, the show must go on. So we'll figure it out. So, Kohig, Satu Sine Talagia de lo Quastegale. I think today is our 11th Cherokee lesson. So, without further ado, come. All right. So, so it's been a little while since you've been with us. So what we have done is I took this hymn from the Lowell Mason Cherokee Singing Book, and of course you know, because you and I know each other really well, but I'm really I love Cherokee music, and I love the old, favorites, and I love finding these songs that no one seems to know anymore, and I think that's pretty cool. And I also, of course, love our traditional songs as well. But so before we get into this one, what is your favorite Cherokee hymn? Do you have a favorite? Because I know you and your sisters sing a lot. So
Well, just recently, we used to always sing the Duda song. We called it a Duda song. It's not really the name of it. There's a hymn number I think goes with it. But my grandpa used to sing that song in church, and so that's why we call it the Duda song. Every time we sing somewhere, that seems to be our first song that we always sing, and it kind of just reminds us of how important Cherokee songs are, hymns are, that it brings you closer to, of course, closer to the Lord, but at the same time, you have a connection with whomever you learned it from.
Right, absolutely.
And with us, it's our grandpa.
Yeah.
Now, since then, my dad used to sing Cherokee all the time, and Heaven Beautiful was his song. And Mama, they called, when she went to church at Tahlequah, there was a song that she would sing all the time, and they would call it Wanda's song.
Oh, yeah.
And so we have started putting that in our singing as well too.
Oh,
so
very nice.
Every song that we have, it goes back to somebody that used to sing it.
Yeah.
And it brings feels closer.
Yeah.
Today's my
kind of
dad's,
brings back those
dad's
memories.
birthday today.
Nice.
So that kind of brings back all those memories and kind of brings you a warmth about it.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's kind of me too, growing up, my mom and my grandpa and I, we all sang together, and stuff. And so the songs that we sang together, those are the ones because when, like you said, whenever you do them, you remember times past when you were all together, and especially now that they're not all here anymore, it kind of gives you a nice warm fuzzy.
Yeah. And the song that Mama sings is "I Will Tell You What God Has done for Me." Yeah, I think is the name of that.
Yes.
Yeah, she likes that song, and that's what she'll sing. Even when we get together, she's in nursing home now, but even when we still get together, she'll sing. She wants to sing that song.
Like that one.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool. And I was telling the people, I believe that music is a very, very important, is really an important part of culture.
Right.
And it's also an important part of learning.
Right.
Because I know you're a teacher and I'm a teacher, and I've had kids 6 or 7 years later come up to me and remember a song that I taught them, at Camp Cherokee way back when, or whatever. They're like, yeah, I still remember that song, and they can just sing it like that. There's something about music and the way our brains work, I think, you know. And I think there's something special about music anyway,
Right.
because if you think about it, all religions and all cultures use music,
Right.
you know, as a way of communicating
Right.
with
Right.
God.
Yeah, and it brings you closer with each other when
Absolutely.
you sing. You know, even if it's a song that maybe that you haven't heard in a long time, and it comes back to you because you used to hear it, you know, a
Yeah.
long time ago. So
Yeah.
yeah, it makes you feel good. Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Is, yeah.
It really does. So this one here is a song that so far I haven't found a Cherokee speaker who is like, oh yeah, we used to sing that at church all the time. Is, you know, so it's kind of one of those songs, and it's called "Come Ye Disconsolate." Of course, obviously, because of my voice, I'm not going to sing it. I could try, but I think it would probably people would need to probably turn off their sound. So maybe, you know, once I get my voice back, then we can try it. But we can still use it to learn
Okay.
our syllabary with.
Okay.
So let me get my glasses. There's a new pair of glasses because I lost mine last week, and so. My daughter picked these out for me, and she got them on the girls' side, but she likes them because they're blue, you know. And so I told her,
You got to wear them.
yes, exactly.
Yes,
And I told her, I said, well, these are our girls' glasses, and she's like, well, there's no such thing. And I was like, well, you kind of have a point, I guess. So all right. So if we read through the syllabary. I'll get my pointer out here. So, u, yo, I, cha, don, ti. U, yo, I, cha, don, ti. Those of you who feel bad, right?
Uyo is bad, yes.
And I, cha, don, ti, that's
Ichadante.
all y'all, right?
Yes. Ichadante, yeah, y'all feel. It's more than one person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More than one you.
Yeah, more than one you. Yeah.
You and you and you and you.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Then na ku, now, right?
Na ku,
E te na, y'all go, right? Or come,
Yeah.
come.
Jan,
Y'all
y'all
come.
come.
Y'all
Yeah,
come.
y'all come. Yes, yes.
I always get, because
Juena
go.
is go. Yeah, Hannah is come here. Yeah, come. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
Is it the same verb and just
Hannah, bueno. Yeah, I think it is really. You know, when you think about it, it's the same. But when you say it, you know that it's not the same.
It's
You're
one
not
or the
doing
other,
the same
yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
You're not doing the
exactly.
same thing. But it sounds like it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when you say come here,
Eheno.
or sometimes I've heard people say tena.
Hannah, yeah.
Yeah.
Depends on the area.
Yeah.
I always say, I've heard a lot of people say that, but they're from a different area. Now, in my area, we'd say Hannah. Yeah.
And that I think seems to be the more common of the two, ehena. But then that means come here.
Yes,
But if you're telling somebody go away, huena.
Bueno. Has a sound at the very beginning.
And I guess
Bueno.
that wa sound, of course, as we know, that wa sound means to go over and do something away from you.
Yes.
So I
yes.
guess that
Yeah. Ulosha.
yeah.
They went that way.
They went over there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
I never really thought about that. You know, now that we're bringing that out, I just knew that that's what it was. I
Right,
didn't
yeah.
really think about, you know, the differences in there or the sameness, but it means something different.
Yeah. In usage.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So tena, all of y'all now come.
Yes. Yes.
Would you just read that first line for us?
Okay. Uyo ijadante. No. I would say no. That says no. Ejano.
Yeah, and again, this goes back to the difference, I think, between spoken Cherokee and sung Cherokee, because a lot of times in the songbooks it's na,
Yeah.
but then when you sing it, you sing nai.
Yeah, yeah,
Nai
okay.
gu.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, that's
Or
true.
at least we did.
Yeah,
You
no
know,
gu, no gu, no gu, no
like
gu.
nai gu, and we
Okay.
always did nai.
Yeah,
It,
yeah.
it sounded more like nai instead of no.
Yeah, okay. Na gu,
Nai
no
gu.
gu, na gu. Okay.
How did, let's see, I'm trying to think of a difference. EJ, well, what's that song? Nakuya no EJ Haley, is that? Do not no Haley. Um, anyway, I can't think, but.
Okay. Maybe it'll come. Maybe it'll come to you.
What about in the second verse of Amazing Grace? When you sing it, no, wait, it's not, no, wait. Nagu.
Nagu, nagu, nagu.
Yeah, it's in the first verse,
Yeah,
isn't
it's
it?
in the first. Yeah.
But when you sing it, how do you sing it?
Is it where it goes? I think I have a sound come out of my nose.
Yeah.
Nagu, nagu.
Nagu.
But it's not. No, it's not as distinct.
Like when we talk.
Yes, yeah, but it does. It has that sound.
Yeah.
That comes out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. But when I was reading nagu, nagu, nagu. Okay, uyo, ijadante, nagu, nagu. See, I would say nagu.
Yeah.
And that's no, right?
Yeah.
No gu. No. No gu. It's y'all come now is what
Yeah.
you're trying to say, isn't
Yeah.
it? No gu is what I would say. No gu no. No. Yeah, no. Come here.
Yeah. And now.
Uyo. Yeah, uyo. Ijadante. No gu. No.
Nice. Okay. And then the next one, it says gu ya. And we talked about this one, right? And is it ku?
Ijakui. I would say ijakuya Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ijakuya
And that means he paid for
Paid
you.
for,
He
yes.
paid for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in this old book, of course, this is from 1846. They used the character gu.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
Ijakya.
Ijakuya Ijaku. Yeah, that ku sound.
Yeah.
And that is Ijakuya. Okay.
So
To me, it has more of a
wa.
sound.
There's a
yeah.
w in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Ijakuya.
Yes.
And then luchi. That means come, arrive, be right.
Like luchi, like you're telling someone to go to them. Is what you're saying. Come to them or go to them. Luchi, go to them.
Go to them.
Yes.
Or go to him, or go to.
Yeah.
Okay, so would you read this line for us?
Okay. Ijakuya luchi.
Okay, and then this next one, na ski uwasahiyu geji na wodi. Okay, so na ski. That's a strange word that can mean like a million different things, right? Can mean kind of like and then or
No, ski.
and then uwasahiyu, just alone or just by himself.
Uwasahiyu.
Him alone.
Yes.
And then he alone maybe. Yeah, gejina. That's woe, isn't it? Or ka.
Yeah.
Let's see, gejina wodi. Geji. No, nope, that's woe. That's woe.
Okay.
It's definitely woe.
Gejina wodi.
and it's supposed to
Is
say,
that okay?
and then we're down here and it says that you may come to him alone.
Okay, and then that's that healed word in there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
healed. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So it says, and then you, and then he alone heals you.
Yes,
Heals you.
yeah. He alone, or he alone is healed. Or, okay, naski. Uwasha he you. Him alone, them alone. Gejina wodi. And then he alone will heal.
Ah, there.
That's
Okay.
what
Yeah.
I had to hear it again for it to click in there. Yeah.
Now, is this word, because as you were saying it, it kind of reminded me of that word, nawoti.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it is. No wart. Get you no wart. They heal you with medicine. Is what it
Medicine.
is. Yeah.
Ah, yeah.
The medicine is the healing. Yeah.
That's weird because it was just like kind of a light bulb moment for me. I was like, oh, wait, that sounds kind of like the word for medicine. It's like, oh, healing, medicine. That kind of makes sense.
And you know, and you've heard people say before that music is healing.
Mm-hmm.
That sometimes a song can be healing, and I know that in church, music to me is the beginning of whatever the healing part of whatever it is.
I
so
agree.
to me, getting the award, that tells you that that's the healing part of it.
The healing part.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So can you read this
No,
one for?
ski. Washa he you getting the award.
Okay, very nice. And then nigada u yo ija da na da. So and then this is kind of the same as here, right?
Yes.
Nigad, everyone. U yo bad ija don di.
Okay.
All of you who feel badly.
If you look at that first one, Ijadante, it just says that, and then this last one has that.
Duh.
Yeah, duh, Ijadante.
Yeah, ija
Yeah.
Really bad.
Yeah. Well, the first one up there says who feel bad. Those of you who feel bad, and there's a difference between that first one up there, Uyo, Ijadante, you feel bad. Then down here, Negada, Uyo, Ijadante, okay. There's a reason why that duh is in that part of it. And that right there makes more like like your mind.
Oh, thinking bad.
Yeah. No, negada uyo ijadante. See, that's a difference than that one up there, that where you just feel bad. It has something to do with your mindset or your thinking.
Oh, yeah. Because in Cherokee, the word for feeling and the word for thinking are very similar, aren't they?
Exactly.
And it's kind of a inflection thing that the difference between.
So and just that one little symbol, that one little syllable right there changes the whole. I mean, it sounds the same, but it's really not the same.
Yeah.
Because that one sound, I always tell my kids at school, you have to make sure you have the symbols right, because anyone can change the whole word or can change the whole meaning of what it is that you're doing. So, Nigada uyo ijatan ta'i. All of y'all that feel bad. And this right here, it's kind of like those of you who feel bad, like those of you all, it could be any of y'all that feel bad.
Yeah.
Then this down here is like all of you. It's more specific.
Oh, yeah, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. The bad feelers. Or all it's more specific than that first one.
All of you.
Yes, that feel bad.
Whereas up here, it could be any one of you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in there, it's kind of singling any of you out. And there it's saying that regardless of who you are, all of you
Right.
who feel bad will be healed.
Right. And see, and when you read it, you have to really think about that, because I think that's what that means. It's more specific.
Yeah.
More to that last part. There's that one sound changes that whole thing to mean more specific thing.
Wow, yeah.
Specific.
Well, would you mind reading the entire paragraph for us?
And let me get my thinking thing here.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I think, well, I mean, you're far better at it than I am, but I struggle reading just in syllabary.
Yeah, sometimes, and seem like during the summertime, I haven't really been reading that much. Yeah, in syllabary. So it's I'm gonna I wanna make it. I might have to say a couple times because I want it to make sense. Is
Okay.
what I'm trying to say. Okay. Uyo ijadanta no gu ejeno ijakuya ha I ejiluchi. And right there, who paid for you? Go to who paid for you is what it says.
Ah, yeah.
Ijakuya ha I ejiluchi. Come to who paid for you.
Ah, okay.
Is what it's saying.
Yeah, don't go to anybody else.
You come to that one because he paid for you. Is what it's saying. And as I'm reading that, it's making more sense to me. As I'm reading it the way it's supposed to be. And
Right. Absolutely.
Okay. No ski. Uwasha hiyu. Gejina wodi. Gejina wodi. Okay. Nigada uyo. Ijadanta I. Okay. That makes sense?
That makes sense. Makes sense. Okay, so now let's go through the second, because there are two verses here. Let's go through the second one. So, etena, kle, gi, you. Okay, so etena again is come. Kle, gi, you. That's, kle, gi, you. Is that like, I mean, I know it's down here, it's translated as soon.
But clegg, that's kind of like quick or pretty soon. Clegg, cleggy you.
And the you is like really soon.
Yes, it's like clegg, in a little bit. Is what it. What it's. To me, that's what it says. And cleggy you. Oh, I'm stepping on my. Is real soon. Coming
really
soon. Come soon. Okay.
So, okay, so come really soon.
Yes.
I, ja, ska, I, ja, ska, ne, ja, So that's the ones, all you sinners, right?
Yes, the ones that did something, that did bad.
Did them wrong.
The ones that sinned is what it's saying. You sinners.
All y'all that done wrong.
All you did the ones that did wrong.
I can never listen to that word and not think of Dennis Six Killer on the radio.
Oh yeah,
doing the basketball games.
When somebody found somebody.
Yeah.
Yes, I used to just laugh when I'd listen to him. And who was that? That was those Nancy and them's brother, wasn't it?
Was it David?
Yeah, David.
Scott.
Yeah. I thought that was the funniest thing to listen to them.
Because in Cherokee, it sounded like they were sinning out there.
And really, there's no word for foul, when you think about it. You just have to put in a word, and then they have to talk fast, to get the words out there. I thought that was the funniest thing.
So would you read that? All right. And then,
well, at the end, he has a he sound, not an e. Okay, yeah. But it still means the same thing. You sinners, you wrongdoers, you foulers.
You foulers. And then G saw, galoneda, ejiluji. Okay, of course. She saw Jesus. Galoned, I know that that's in there a lot. But
Giscaloned. And you know, when I hear that, it reminds me of my grandma. When I was younger, of course, we went to church at Vian, and they would talk about Giscaloned, and that word galoned, that could mean you're painting something, hilone, you're painting
oh yeah,
something, or galoned means like what's that word? Like uh, they mistreated you or they falsely accused you.
yeah.
Is I think galoned is what that and that's what that means
Oh,
is
the one that was because he was accused.
yeah, right, right. So that's what that means, Giscaloned. But Grandma used to say Jesus was painted. They painted Jesus.
The
Is what,
painted
yeah,
Jesus.
how she was
Translating
yeah,
it.
translating. And I would just laugh, and she was just kind of just joking
Yeah,
with me,
yeah.
telling me that. I thought that was the funniest thing. When I hear that, I think about my grandma, Galoned.
And really, when you think of it, even in terms of English, those two words do have a relationship to each other because sometimes they'll say, "Oh, well, they were painted as guilty," or "They were painted as,"
yeah.
and which kind of gives the impression in English that they weren't really that way, but that they were depicted that way, or they were,
True.
So
That makes sense. Because whenever you're translating from English to Cherokee to translate and you can't, it's not really translated from Jesus Christ. It's
right,
just translated Jesus the one accused, or
yeah,
Jesus the one that was painted in a bad
bad
light.
light by the Romans,
Yeah. So you kind of have to think about that really does make sense. Galoned, depending how you use it.
yeah.
But I never really thought about But when I talked about Grandma telling me that probably maybe that's what she meant.
Oh
In there
yeah,
somewhere.
yeah,
And I just thought it was hilarious when she was telling me
And then, of course, we have this word again, e g lu chi.
Yeah.
Like go to him, right?
Yes. Come to him.
Yeah, come to him.
Yeah.
Would you read this one?
Okay. Gisa galoned e gi luci.
Yeah. And then this one's funny because then gi ga ga le guo di u je wo je le hi.
Okay.
Whenever I was first going through this, Giga, boy, it just really threw me because I was like, Giga, I was like, what is that? And then it just kind of like came to me. I was like, oh wait, blood.
Yeah.
Because we don't usually see it written with a ga.
Right.
We usually see it nowadays written with a ga.
Giga.
Giga. But here they wrote it Giga. Kala Wodi. So like holy blood or sacred blood,
sacred.
right?
Kala quote. Giga, kala quote.
And then uje woje ule hoje
Uje wo je la i.
uje woje la hi.
Yes.
And that's is that like spilled?
Yeah, it poured out or it spilled. Uje wo je la i. To me, it's kind of like it could be poured or spilled or whatever, but it's like it just came out. Just came out is another way to explain that.
Would you go ahead and read this one for us?
Giga galagwoti uje wo je la i.
Uje woje la i. Uje woje la i.
It's like his blood. Uje wo je la i. His blood spilled out.
His blood spilled.
Yeah.
And then this ge jo su le di. Ge jo su le di. I ji skana. I ji skana jai. And the weird thing here, to me, is that here in this instance, they wrote E, whereas up here,
It's he.
yeah, they wrote it as he.
Okay. E skana ja he. And then E skana ja e. One there's a difference
There is a
between
difference.
between those two. Okay. E jano kleki you E skana ja he. You that sinned. Then down here is gejo su lady. Gejo su lady. E skana ja e. And this one of them is those that sinned, and the other one is just sinners.
Ah, okay.
And it's again, I think it's the more specific. You sinners.
Okay.
Then those that sinned.
Ah, okay.
To me, that's the difference.
So
between
they're kind of the same, but not really the same.
Yeah. That last ending, I think, I don't think that it was done in, just because they changed the sound.
Yeah,
There's a reason why
yeah.
that there's a different sound on the end.
Okay. And then this gejosu ledi. Now that's more like to wipe something, isn't it?
Yeah, and really, gejo su led edgies. Okay, and edgies gonna join. That means he cleansed your sins.
Ah,
Is what
okay.
it is. He wiped your sins.
He
Yeah,
wiped
so
them.
this is not it's not sinners, it's sins.
Ah, sins.
Yes,
Okay.
he has cleansed your sins.
That makes more sense.
That makes now that I read that first part of that, to add it to that one, it makes
you're
more
like,
sense.
oh, yeah, there it
there
all
it is.
goes together.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you read this paragraph for us?
Okay. E jena kleki you, e jis kana jahi, jisa kalonet, e ji luchi. Giga kalabodi, ujewo che lai. Ujewo che lahi. Okay. Gejo shuledi, e jis kana jahi. Okay.
All right. So, and that's really the cool thing about, and that's one of the things that I like about teaching songs and teaching hymns and doing things like that, is because there's just like those little tidbits of information in there that sometimes get lost. I mean, to a speaker, it unconsciously makes sense. I mean,
Right.
And so then when you have to think about it, you're like, well, wait, hang on a second. I gotta kind of.
Because the more you sing songs, you just know the words. You just know what they mean.
Yeah.
But if you break them apart and try to figure out, what does this mean? What specifically does this mean? Then you kind of have to think about, why there's a sound like this here and why it's, it's not in this one. Even though it's the same word, or it seems like it's the same word, there's a difference in that.
Yeah, and I remember as a kid, I think I was probably in middle school, I had asked my Aunt Joanne, because I knew how to sing Amazing Grace in Cherokee, but I didn't know what all the words meant.
Right.
And so I remember asking her, well, what do the words mean? And she was like, well, it just kind of means, and I said, well, no, what does it really, what do all the words mean? And she was like, well, I know what they mean, but I can't tell you.
It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
Because I always ask my sister, Brenda, she's the leader when we sing, and I'll ask her sometimes, do you know what you're singing? Do you know what it means? She said, I do now. A long time ago when I was younger, I just sang what.
Just made the sound.
Made the sound.
Yeah.
But I do now.
Yeah.
And I said, is it more, do you feel more, how do you feel more like you you're closer with the Lord when you know what you're singing? She said, yeah, it makes a whole lot more sense to me now, and makes me feel different, she said.
Right,
And
yeah.
which it does. You got to
Yeah.
know what you're singing. And that's what I
Absolutely.
tell the kids when we do the OCO song. If you don't know what you're singing, what good is it
Yeah,
to
what's
sing
the
the song?
point? Yeah. Oh, I remember when I was a kid. Again, I was probably, I don't know, maybe in junior high or something. And I remember the Methodist Church in Grove had asked me to come up for something, and they asked me to sing Amazing Grace in Cherokee. And of course, back then, I mean, I knew it, but I didn't know. I mean, I just knew the sounds
Right,
or whatever.
right.
And so I thought I was going to be real jazzy or whatever, and I was going to go back to the singing book, So I went and I got the songbook, which was all in syllabary, and I remember spending hours, because I didn't know syllabary
Yeah,
back then,
yeah.
and so I had a little chart, and I had the singing book, and I went every single, and I wrote them all out, but there's a spelling error in Amazing Grace in that singing book.
Oh, yeah?
In the second verse. Instead of saying like "ah say no," it's instead of "ah," I think it's "e" or something like that.
Okay.
There's in all of those singing books, that second verse, there's a mistake
Oh,
in
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I didn't know that, and so I remember going up to the church or whatever, and they had invited a church from Jay to come up that were Cherokee speakers, And I remember I sang through that first verse, and of course they were all singing because it's, that's what we do, And so they were singing with me or whatever. And then I got to that second verse, and I started with that first sound or whatever, and they all just stopped. They were like, "What?" I'll never forget that as long as I live, because it just really threw them, But I didn't know, because I was just singing
Following
the way it was on the
yeah.
paper, or whatever. So
Well, again, that just goes to show that one sound changes the whole thing. I mean, it probably didn't really change it, but people that sing it or that know
That know it,
it kind of, they were like, oh, okay, that's something a little bit different here, that makes sense. I was, trying to tell the kids, every sound in there, there's a reason for
is a
that sound in
purpose.
there.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, this song, of course, I've sang it for you guys before. I'm not going to sing it today because my voice obviously is really trash. But hopefully, maybe we'll be able to do that at some point.
Okay.
So let's talk about Ol Ujetsti. So it says here, Ujetsti, Kaya Sole, Adaleniska, Gani Dahi, Igana Hida, Jogatu, Joskohi, Gala Galkog, E Sitatisti. Okay. Now, because even me, as like, it's been a few days since I've looked at it, so I don't know what it says. So,
What is this trying to say?
yeah, like where are we going with this? So Ujetsti, the possum, Kaya soul, his nose, Adaleniska, the beginning, Gani Dai of his tail.
Okay.
Igana heed in length, right? Jogatu, 13. Jos Kohi Kalkwog, 37.
Okay.
Isi Tadisti, inches, right?
Okay.
Is that now? Would you put the word ale in between Jogatu and Jos Kohi Kalkwog?
Okay, you're saying 13, Jogatu. 13. Okay, so
Trying to say between, they can fall in between 13 and 37 inches in length.
yeah, they might have to be, because you have to separate Jogatu, Ale, Joskohi. Okay, yeah, I would put a Ale in
Put
there.
ale in there.
And that Ale doesn't necessarily mean and.
No.
It could be or.
Or yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think it probably would have to need that
Ale in there. So when we get back to my regular computer, I'll fix that.
Okay.
Don't let me forget.
Okay.
So would you go ahead and read through this for me?
Okay. Ujesti kaya soli adaleniska ganita tai igan iganahita iganahita
In length.
the length, okay?
The length of it.
Okay. Jokatu alle joskohi kalkogi isi tatisti isi tatisti.
Easy to taste.
Easy to taste.
So I know that the word, all of our units of measure kind of all come from different roots or whatever. I know that this is translated as inches, but is there another?
Isi tatis. To me, that's kind of like a. It has something. It reminds me of something with the hands. Like the number of hands or something, and you know how they measure horses by the hands or
this
whatever.
way.
To me, and this, it could be fingers. When I think about that, I'm sure it has to do with some kind of something that they use to measure.
To measure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, of course, we didn't have a ruler or whatever, so they had to measure with either with their fingers, and some people will measure. This is an inch on their finger, you know, to be able to. So isit.
Yeah. I think my grandpa used to use his thumb. From there to there, and that's how he measured an inch. So.
Yeah, so I'm thinking it's kind of like isit. It's kind of like just like this, kind of like a measure. Like from here to here to here. That's what it sounds like to me. Yeah, you see it.
Yeah. Well, and that kind of, brings up kind of the point of our language, because I'm sure a long time ago we didn't have the need for measuring that precise or whatever, And so then when we started interacting more and more with Europeans, we had to figure out a way to translate what they're talking about.
Right. And then whenever, and I'm sure, what I've just, there's a lot of words that, my grandpa, my grandma, or whatever, if I was able to ask them, they could probably tell us why they used that word for inches or whatever, because that's like you said, there was no need to really measure anything. Or
that close.
Yeah, that closely. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
I was just okay.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Right there where it says "Ujesti kaya soli," okay, adaleniska, beginning from the nose is what it's saying, right? From the nose, ganida to the tail, okay. Iganahida, the length of it, okay. All right. Jogatu, okay. Ale joskohi, kashkogi, I sitadisti. Okay.
Does that make more sense?
Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah. I just had to read it again, because I had to kind of figure out. We were talking from the nose to the tail. Okay. Yeah.
So from the nose, basically to the begining of the tail.
Okay.
Not including.
Not including the tail.
Not including the tail.
Okay.
I think.
Okay. Kaya soli als
Adaleniska.
from beginning from the nose. Ganita ta'i. And that's just saying from the nose to the tail. Okay. All right. Adalenisk. Okay. Kaya sol adalenisk. Ganita, okay, from the nose to the beginning of the tail. Okay, there it is. Okay, I kept saying, okay, where does it say that it's the beginning of the tail? Okay, so it's adalenes, the beginning of the tail.
The beginning of the tail. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
There we go.
And that's what you're saying is just not the tail, but just that
just
body.
the body part.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, makes sense.
Okay, and then here. Ganita, uye le ha, le, gana hisa, sonel, le, soneladu, isi tadisti. So Ganita, the tail. Uyela, huh? Hopefully you guys
Yeah.
that are coming in, you know that what that word is. We've used it quite a bit. To be naked, right? Without hair.
Right.
Ole, and in this case, gonna hisa. Again, we're talking about its length. Sonel, 9. Ale, in this case, it would be kind of 2. Sonel, do 19. Isi tadisti. Inches.
Right. Right.
So, would you read that one for us?
Ganita, uyela, huh? Ale, gana hisa, soneli, ale, sonela, do isi tadisti.
Okay, so the tail is naked and between 9 and 19 inches long. So now we're just talking about the tail alone. Then it says, this is an interesting one. Do one gutla, ale, judalain, dungo hoost, ye ga, is it qui? Ye ga qui na, ye ga qui na no.
You got que.
You got que na, gani doctor. So do one gutla branches, right? Ale and judalain to go who's various other things.
Yes, okay.
Different things.
No, Judaland, no. It's what make more sense. Judaland, no. Okay, that's what it is. Judaland, no. Different things.
Different things.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Different things. Yigakwenan, wrap.
Yigakwenan.
Yigakwenan. So it's talking about the tail can wrap around branches and other things.
Other things. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, would you read that one for us?
Okay. Duwan Gashla, Ale, Judaland, da, go whoosty, ye go quen, no, gani dota, ye go quen, no, gani dota.
Okay, would you say this word one more time for us?
Ye go quen, no.
Ye go quen, no.
Yeah, it will wrap around.
Wrap around.
Yeah, gani dota.
Okay.
He will wrap around, his tail will wrap around.
So it sounds like to me that the accent is on that second and that next to the last.
Yes.
Yigakwe no.
Right.
Okay. All right. Good. So we are out of time. And so, of course, I know that all of this is kind of a review, but it's nice to have a speaker here because we can get a more in-depth understanding of those words that we just kind of have a surface understanding of as second language learners. So we really appreciate you kind of coming in and helping, because I think here we're at Cherokee 3 now, and so getting that kind of deeper understanding of some of these things, I think in the beginning, it's good enough to just know, well, if you want this to happen, you say this kind of thing, or whatever. This is what gets the job done. These words get the job done. However, at this level, hopefully you're starting to make some connections and some deeper understandings and some being able to kind of put some things together, I hope. So.
Right. And and there's some things on here that I have to really think about because as a speaker, I don't really think about these things, but it's good for me to be able to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
okay.
I enjoy it.
Good. I'm glad you enjoy it because I know for some speakers it's they'd rather be tortured, I think, than have to think about it because it's a lot of it is a lot of brain thinking. So anyway, from all of us here at RSU TV, I just want to say wadon.
Wadon.
Wadon.